are implementing the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, and particularly the South African National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. Young women play a key role in the implementation of that agenda. When we are talking about peace and security, wanting to create a peaceful, prosperous Africa, it's their future we are talking about. So they should be in the lead of determining the what that peace and security is going to be like. And so we want to be profiling the kind of work that they are doing right now. We are looking for, firstly, young, dynamic women who are engaged in activities that promote the participation of women in peace building, the prevention of violence against women, the protection of women in conflict situations, and the participation of women in relief and recovery efforts. So the key issues we are looking for are, what are some of the impactful things that young women are doing? So it has to be impactful. It has to have reach. The things that they're doing must reach a broad number of people. And it must be upscalable and replicable, so that others can also begin to do these things. We're also looking at women who use their voices and their pens to promote peace as well, because that's another medium for doing so. For me, the women have always been engaged in peace, promoting peace in colonial times, in our own fight against apartheid, for example. Women were always there. They were there prior to UN Security Council 1325 in the year 2000. We've been there trying to implement it since then, and we will have the future of women going forward. These are the young peace builders who will take these initiatives forward. So we're looking for collaboration with women who will be showing the same kind of spirit, working towards that peace and security which we've been envisioning now for a very long time across this continent. I'm hoping to see that it will encourage many more young women to come forward and to embark on these kinds of initiatives. They will be able to see that it takes an idea, it takes passion, it takes a willingness to go out there and do something more than anything else. And then there are a number of other organizations and people, individuals too, that one can draw on and collaborate with to make it a success. And so as we go forward with these awards, we will think that hope that many more women will be profiled as we go forward. So I think it's important that we are on the same page of what we are working towards, how we begin to do it, how we organize ourselves, and how we seek to achieve it. A framework gives us that kind of guide. And so that is what the National Action Plan does. It says that when we're talking about women, peace and security, these are the things we are talking about implementing, and these are the ways in which we want to implement it. So that's the guide, I think. I look for somebody who understands, has an understanding of what the insecurity challenges are, first and foremost, because they must know what they are trying to combat. I look for somebody who is then showing initiative. We can't do everything, so I'm going to tackle this particular area, know it pretty well, and understand what it is I need to do to bring about changes in the society. So not just people who would run in and do something. Somebody would also have the kind of reflection that is necessary to make those changes. You can't do this work without passion, without labor. I think many of the young ones who've joined us now understand that this work, the reward comes from what you do rather than any other kind of material reward. We are about creating sustainable futures, sustainable, peaceful future. And so we do the kind of work we do for generations that are coming. I think we have engaged in the struggle to get women to participate in peace and security decision-making, structures and processes. That door is open now. It is for women to go and claim the space and do the necessary. The fight is no longer for mere inclusion. The fight is now about being engaged, being called up to do the work that needs to be done. And so I would hope that we see the 50% that we have been promoting for years now, that we begin to see when we go to the UN, when we go to the AU and SADC, or even here at DIRCO in our armies, etc. Now we had the Ethiopians come here for a peace agreement. We want to see young women occupying those spaces, being represented there, but having meaningful participation as well. When we first started with peace building, it was something that got done after a peace agreement was signed, right? It was the activities such as demobilization, demilitarization, reintegration, resettlement. It was around reconstructing people's the home environment, etc. All of those things that brought about peace after conflict. We then realized pretty soon after that, that's the 1990s, we realized pretty soon after that, peace is actually a continuum. And that's why we talk about conflict prevention first. So peace building starts with conflict prevention, actually. It includes your peacemaking, your post-conflict reconstruction, the things that I've been speaking about, and then broader peace building. So when we talk now about peace building, we're actually talking about changing relationships between communities that have been in conflict, or states that have been in conflict, because the peace agreement does not change necessarily the relationship. It only provides a framework for how we're going to interact afterwards. And we spend way too little time on that. When there's conflict, where does that conflict stem from? Differing interest, differing understandings, and we then need to get to how we resolve those issues. Otherwise, we get to conflict very soon. So peace for me is dealing with those forms of transformation that are necessary. When we're talking about reconciliation, when we're talking about the necessary justice that has to come after conflict, the peace building has to concentrate on those particular issues, firstly. So those are the kinds, the form. But in a philosophy of peace, it has to start with oneself. You cannot go out there creating peace when within your own household, within yourself, the conflicts are rife, because that will spill over to the kind of work that you do. So my philosophy about peace building is it has to be inclusive. It has to be from a position of peacefulness to begin with. And thirdly, it has to include the array of issues that I have outlined, including working on changing our relationships. I am Professor Cheryl Hendricks. I am the Executive Director of the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation. The Young Women Peace Builders Awards are for young women who are thriving for peace in their communities.